Hello and welcome guys to the universe of law hope legal classes once again. I'm back to discuss a very important issue today, and that is a most burning topic in the recent past, that is a transit remand and a transit anticipatory bail. Transit remand is an earlier concept and transit anticipatory bail is a new concept. Let's first discuss about the transit remand. See, there is a mandate by the Constitution of India under Article 22, Clause 2 that if an accused is arrested, he has to be produced before a magistrate within the 24 hours, excluding the time necessary to take that journey. And there is also a provision inside the CRPC under Section 57 that when a person is arrested, he has to be produced before the magistrate within the 24 hours time. But what happens when that accused cannot be produced in that particular time to the court which is actually having the jurisdiction to try that particular offense? For example, a person has committed an offense in Karnataka and he ran away from there and he comes back to Uttar Pradesh, let's suppose in Moradabad. And when the Karnataka police has started investigated that particular crime, they came here and they arrested that accused. Now the word necessary is very important here. Why? Because when they arrest that accused, will not be able to produce that accused before that Karnataka court on a note of necessary time. So what they will do? They will produce that accused before the court in Moradabad only, and they'll ask for transit remand. And what they will do? They'll go to the court and they'll seek the permission of that court that they have arrested this guy here in Moradabad and they are taking that guy into their custody, and they will take that guy back to the place where he has actually committed the crime. That means in the Karnataka court. So what the Moradabad court will do is they'll grant the police custody and they'll take all the documents from the police personals as to check whether they are originals. Let's suppose, for example, they'll take their IDs and they'll remand that accused to those police persons who have arrested them. Now this process is known as transit remand, and the order will state that that particular accused has to be produced on a very particular time, for example 3-4 days, to that court which was actually having the jurisdiction to try that offense. Now this is the concept of transit remand. And in the awakening thing, this toolkit case, Disha Ravi and Shantanu Mukul, this is getting burning day by day, because what happens is Delhi police has arrested Shantanu Mukul from Bangalore residence and Disha Ravi from Bangalore residence without a transit remand. What they do is they went directly to Bangalore. They did not ask for the transit remand, and actually the legal fraternity actually vehemently condemned this act of Delhi police because transit remand is necessary for interstate arrests. And what happens is Shantanu Mukul has filed a petition before the Bombay High Court to get in transit anticipatory bail. Now what does that mean, and from where it finds its traces? See, transit bail was also there earlier on, but we are talking about transit anticipatory bail. Section 438 of CRPC specifically mentions about anticipatory bail, and it talks about discretion of court to grant anticipatory bail on the apprehension of arrest. Now what do you mean by this apprehension of arrest? Well, let's suppose there is a FIR against any person. Now he is in the anticipation of arrest, that he'll be arrested by the police. So what that person do is they file an application before the court of session or the high court to get a pre-arrest bail on the anticipation or on the apprehension of that arrest. That is known as anticipatory bail. Now this transit anticipatory bails means is, for example, in the same case, but I'm taking another example for simplifying you guys. Let's suppose a person resides in Punjab, right? And he has committed crime in Uttar Pradesh. And after committing the crime, he went back to Punjab. Now there is an FIR registered against him in the state of Uttar Pradesh only. And Uttar Pradesh police is ready to arrest that guy. And the police went to Punjab. Now what happens is, when he is aware about that he'll be getting arrested, so what he will do is, he'll file an application there in the Punjab court only, which is not actually having jurisdiction to try that offense, because the offense was committed in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But what he will do is, he will file an application before the court of Punjab that he is in the apprehension of arrest, and till the time he went to that court which is actually having jurisdiction to try that offense, you please grant us an anticipatory bail for the transit. Transit means to go from one place to another place. So the meaning here is, he'll ask for that transit anticipatory bail from that court which is not actually having the jurisdiction to try that offense. So he'll go to that court, he'll ask the anticipatory bail, and while the court will examine the circumstances, and they will also examine if there is a prima facie evidence against that accused, and they will also examine as to what are those circumstances that the accused is asking for the anticipatory bail. And if that court finds, or if that court reaches to the conclusion that yes, the accused needs an relief of transit anticipatory bail, then that court is now empowered to grant him bail which is not actually having the jurisdiction to try that offense, but they still can grant the relief, and they can also provide the time that he can produce or he can appear before that court which was actually having jurisdiction to try that offense, and till the time the relief will be granted. Now this transit remand and the transit anticipatory bail are the new concept, although they are not specifically mentioned in the Indian criminal law, but somehow they find traces in the CRPC and the supreme law of the land, that is the Constitution of India. And let's talk about the sections. It is sections 57 particularly, article 22 clause 2 particularly, and 167 is the most important provision, because it says that when investigation cannot be completed within the 24 hours time, then the accused has to be forwarded to the nearest magistrate, because if that is not done, the custody becomes illegal. So for removing this plague, this concept has been evolved and it is named as transit anticipatory bail. Well, this was the concept which I was very keen to discuss with you guys, because this is a new invention by courts, and obviously you guys must be all aware about that when there is an invention by court, then it is always termed as judges made laws. And for securing the rights of the citizens and liberty and the freedoms, the courts are always inclined towards to protect the rights of the citizens, because until and unless the guilt of the accused is proved beyond reasonable doubts, the accused is considered in the eye of laws to be innocent. So that is why these two concepts were evolved, transit remand and transit anticipatory bail. But well, I am discussing specifically about the transit anticipatory bail here. So it is a very good concept, and the persons who are carrying practice, they must go through the various judgments of the Honorable Supreme Courts and the various high courts of the country to explore about this transit anticipatory bail. And there is a plethora of judgments regarding this matter, but I want to make you understand in a layman language that what transit remand is and what transit anticipatory bail is. Well, thank you very much. We'll come up with the more videos to give you guys an idea about the practical application of laws and enlighten you guys to make you vibrant about what the law is and how the current trends are regarding. Well, all the very best. Have a good day and have a great time ahead. Thank you.